some of the most significant characters in the wizarding world are the wondrous beasts. In this film, there are exciting new creatures and old favourites.
You have new beasts and the relevance of these new creatures to the wizarding world, and how they at times play important parts in the rituals of magic.
There's this extraordinary new creature who's incredibly enigmatic. It's called a Цилинь.
It's absolutely beautiful, sort of sacred animal.
Our version of the Цилинь is a magical version and is really elegant and powerful.
It comes from China, and it's almost got a sort of deer-like quality to it, but it's got this scaly skin, and it's incredibly mythical.
Cili'n is the purest of all creatures, in the sense that it can tell what is in your heart.
It's able to look into your soul. It's able to kind of come up to you and ultimately see if you're a good or a bad person.
I think we've got about 300 Cili'n concepts somewhere.
In the script, she's described as being a cross between a horse and a dragon. Her characteristics are one of being kind of delicate and fragile, but also inherently noble.
The Wyvern was a two-legged dragon, and when we went back through the Potter films, we were like, oh right, so all those dragons are wyverns, because all of the dragons in Potter are two-legged. So we thought, well, let's just try and do something different, and very early on, one of our artists came up with a brilliant idea of this kind of hot air balloon-like dragon that could blow itself up to escape. And that was one of the first concepts that David went, I love it. And it felt very much of our world, you know, something that was a bit bonkers and fun, you know.
We've also got these amazing creatures called Manticores. Manticores are sort of crab-like, lobster-like monsters.
In Greek legend is sort of half lion, half scorpion, human head. It's not something that really fits in what we've set up in Fantastic Beasts. So there what we started exploring was like a creature that could be, it's mainly scorpion. We see it as little babies, and when it sits, it's got its tails curled around it, and it's got a little tail wagging, and it's got its little head looks up, so it looks like a little kitten. A lot of the stuff I loved about the Harry Potter world was that a lot of the effects felt practical, even though they were often digital. And so we wanted to bring a little bit more of that back. You want to find the character in the creatures and make sure they're just as important as the human counterparts, really, in the end. The audience really attaches themselves to, you know, obviously creatures in the past like the Niffler, who's now called Teddy.
Teddy the Niffler is back, scene stealing as always, and being that wondrous mix of heaven and hell. But in this movie, he's actually incredibly helpful.
Teddy is very cheeky and very naughty, of course, and spends most of his time trying to steal items from the crew.
We've got a scene on the train where, you know, Jacob catches the Niffler and then he puts him in a frying pan on a bar, and then one of the animators thought it'd be funny and said we've got the Nifflers leaning while the characters are talking. The Niffler's leaning behind the bar and grabbing knives and forks, and he's making himself a knife and fork nest. So by the end of the sequence, he sat there sort of showing himself into a nest.
Pickett, who's another complete favourite of mine. He's about being brilliant and helping Newt, giving him a bit of TLC when he needs it, and generally saving the day.
He's always kind of mirroring Newt. He's always travelling in his pocket.
And we have a variety of different sort of VFX puppets that we use. This one is simply a kind of a static one. So a little bit like our posable Nifflers, we can just place this one into the shot. But we have other Picketts too. They have moving parts to them, and also we have a posable one as well, which has small armature running through it so that we can pose Pickett into interesting positions. For instance, when he's holding onto a wand, or if he has to hang off something, we can have one arm up and have him sort of rigged onto whatever he's holding.
Another returning creature is the Phoenix. It's obviously attached to Credence as we left it at the end of the last film.
The way the Phoenix exists in the Harry Potter universe is as this spirit familiar with the Dumbledore family who comes to Dumbledores who are in need, who are in distress. And so this Phoenix found Credence and really sort of dwells with him and in parallel experience to him.
Story-wise, we're wanting to make it look as if it's towards the end of its life cycle, so it's very much grayer, it's less red and vibrant than we've seen it before. As it flies, we're going to have flame come from its wings and it's going to be dropping ash.
It's quite an eclectic but really enjoyable group of new creatures on this journey.
After the Harry Potter films, I was desperate to make a film where we could just explore these beautiful, mysterious, magical creatures. So I had a special time making this movie.